Welcome to Two Women in Crypto, a weekly podcast birthed on a whim by two women who are excited about the cryptocurrency landscape and have a shared passion about empowering others to step into the digital, tokenized world of the future. We offer tips, tricks, and our own individual insights as to how to begin to navigate this shift. We are not financial advisors nor experts. We are just here to encourage you to look at the possibilities. So welcome to the future. You're right on time. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Two Women in Crypto.
Yes, absolutely. And we're recording a little bit later. It's obviously later in the day because there's sunshine on both fronts. So that's good.
Very good. I know. Sorry, life gets in the way sometimes.
Life gets in the way.
So we juggle our schedules and bringing you the podcast on this fine Saturday morning, bringing in December.
I know, right? Feels good, actually. I'm
Yeah.
eager for the next 2 weeks. What's going to happen? I'm sure those are things that we're going to talk about a little bit, but I am eager to see what happens through the incoming energy.
Yes. And it's really interesting too. I started taking notes yesterday down on a envelope, and I'm like, they were saying Sam Bankman-Fried is the next JP Morgan of crypto. And today it's oh, he was really young.
Well, wow. Did you listen to him at all oh my gosh, talk about young. I was listening to this as how in the world did this young man end up having that kind of money at his disposal? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. He talks like a California boy. No offense to California boys out there, but you could really hear the youth in his voice, in the way he spoke.
And at the same time, he went to a very good college. He worked for, a very well-known investment company. And I saw an amazing tweet by Danielle Dixon, the CEO of Stellar. And she said, "This isn't a high school bake sale."
Right. There's something to be said for gray hair and experience, pardon the pun. But I mean, life has so many experiences and mentorship and things. Anyway, regardless, but it's interesting that he was able to do what he has done.
Yep. So we'll see. They're going to start the hearings. I can't remember the exact date. I think the 8th or the 13th. But we'll keep everybody posted. So he is going to be questioned, and he's already been super honest, kind of, with some of the things he said. And he has to do time. If he doesn't do time, then we don't have justice in our country. We have a 2-tiered system. There's a system for us, and there's a system for them.
Well, and it was interesting. I think one of the biggest takeaways, and I didn't listen to the whole thing, was the fact that he wasn't utilizing any type of risk management. And at that point in time, I listened to part of it. I'm like, okay, I got to turn this off. Mm-hmm. Click. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And, I was doing some research to see, after Lehman collapsed, right? Mm-hmm. It took about 5 to 6 months before we hit a bottom, which would put us in about March 2023. And I think that makes sense with a lot of things that are going on. So even if the market pumps up, I think we'll see what the inflation numbers come out as. And Jerome Powell, I think he's going to start slowing the rate increases because the job numbers came in and they were terrible. So, and there's all of these other things going on. But the biggest hype right now is we're going to have an energy crisis in the winter. So let's just keep this all in mind. It could drive the prices up. So, we'll see what they do. But, at the end of the day, we're moving into a new future of finance. And that financial system will be based on the blockchain.
Yes, it will.
And speaking of that, Russia came out and said that they are going to be using Ethereum's blockchain for the largest bank in Russia, which is, Vitalik Buterin is Russian. They flew him in years and years ago.
Yeah.
And, we're really kind of just trying to get him to sign on board with Russia. So he did.
Yeah, setting the stage. That wasn't surprising for me at all to see that come through.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Ethereum would be a great thing we all have been using ERC20 to move as gas fees. Everybody has to use Ethereum for the most part. But if you're not actually hodling any, not that this is financial advice because none of this is, it might be something to consider to add to your portfolio.
Yeah, definitely. And I really still want to keep a close eye on what's going on with Tether, because I wouldn't be surprised if Tether depegs. When we think about if there's like about 20,000 projects, like give or take, 1 or 2,000, if 99% of them go out, it makes sense that Tether would be a big part of that. And we know that Alameda Research was the largest holder of Tether. So
Right.
Super, super concerning. I don't think the contagion is over.
I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I think there's still some axis to fall in whatever direction they will. Yeah. And if anybody's holding USDT, we've been saying, and again, this isn't financial advice, but we highly suggest that you don't hold anything in USDT and that you put it into another stable coin such as BUSD, Binance, or put it back over to USDC, but yeah, not USDT.
Right. The other interesting thing I wanted to just make mention before we kind of like go into some crypto news. So the SEC, remember the SEC sued BlockFi, and they agreed to $100 million settlement back in February.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that $100 million? So if BlockFi, I think they had to pay them in a couple of installments. Technically speaking, that money should go back to the customers, right? Because the SEC's job is to protect us, to protect the investors. And because BlockFi had to take out a $250 million loan to pay back the SEC, isn't that really interesting? Like this all happens and then FTX falls.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It'll be interesting to see if the curtains really get pulled back for us to see what really happened.
Yeah. And the crypto community is so great. They're all over this. Even that one guy, he hopped on a plane and went to the Bahamas, was trying to help. So we have a really good community. And I also want to say I've been noticing, there are a couple senators, representatives like stepping up. So Tom Emmer, 8 other senators, like they're talking and they're really pushing. If the United States passes the central bank digital currency, it has to be open source, permissionless, and private. So we do have people that are still trying to push for our freedom. Because let's face it, this is freedom. This is absolute, like our freedom is being attacked right now.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is.
So, that, and then there was Representative Alex Mooney, and he just putting up a gold-backed United States dollar bill. He wants the dollar to go back to be pegged to gold.
Right, and what was the original depegging? Was it in 70?
Yeah, I think it was 71. Nixon took the United States dollar off of gold, and ever since then you could see the inflation go up.
Right.
So this has been going on since then, and and here we are today, and it's just everything is so uncertain. Like the news is so overwhelming, but that's why I'm like, sometimes just take a break. Like take a break from this stuff. Like make sure you get your coins offline first, and take a break. Like crypto's not going anywhere. We just need to be patient for regulation. And I think we'll get regulation in that first half of 2023. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I do. I think the first quarter or first half is going to be really imperative to what the future looks like.
Yeah. And probably probably around the same time, we're getting regulation. we're going to get these bills. We're going to see the bottom end. So the contagion should be over, within the next 6 months. So,
which is super exciting when you think about it, because it's been one hell of a year.
I know.
I mean, it's like, wow, it's already December. Where did the time go? Because it's been very volatile. But but I think we're reaching the culmination of it. 6 months, that's nothing in the timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here's something that's really fun too. I don't know if you heard about this, but I've been on Twitter. The World Economic Forum asked Shiba Inu to join, and they put it up for a vote.
I saw that, but I don't know any results or anything else. I saw the initial.
I think they're going to do it.
Well, there you go. Those SHIB holders that have been ridiculed forever for holding and even buying into the coin, but I've been holding it the whole time as well. So, or at least the majority of it.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see like what they have in mind. They're very aware of the World Economic Forum, but sometimes you have to go into these places and like try to change them from within, and hopefully you don't sell out. It's really hard. These people with good intentions, once you're surrounded by like all this power and all this money, it's like getting addicted to heroin and trying to quit.
Right, absolutely.
So
it's a great analogy.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. And I just want to kind of jump into a little bit of crypto news and talk about Bitcoin.
Okay.
Because I still see so much FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt all around the energy usage of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And especially now that FTX has collapsed, I'm seeing Senator Warren and just a lot of other people like kind of like attacking the cryptocurrency space to use this to be like the whole industry is bad, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's like here's a group of 5 bad people, so let's take away everyone's rights or make it so hard, overregulate the space out of existence.
Right.
But I was watching and I remembered we talked about this and probably like more towards the beginning when we first started doing this. And I had posted this article about how Bitcoin miners are able to capture the heat of I believe these are hydro in northern Vancouver, and they're providing electricity to all of the houses in this one small town, right? So it's not like a large scale thing. So I was doing a bunch of research on electricity because cross-border payments are changing, and it's going to change like our whole infrastructure of money. And yet we're going to do it like this modernization of our grid. And so the way that we receive energy and just everything about our grid, I believe, is going to change. We're going to peer-to-peer, like sell energy back and forth to each other. And then here we go. We have this amazing technological breakthrough with Bitcoin. Now you have a solar farm, and the solar farm generates like 5 megawatts of solar electricity, but they're only using 2. So right now, 3 megawatts of solar energy is being wasted. You invite the Bitcoin miners to come. They're able to pay for that electricity super cheaply because you're just wasting it. It's going, no one's using it.
Right.
And now the Bitcoin miners can mine at an inexpensive price using cheap electricity. And the subsidy of that is you're able to grow the solar farm.
Right. Yeah.
And you can use this with wind farms, hydro farms. I talked about how with Shell, they're collecting the shale, so here we go. And wouldn't it be amazing if Bitcoin is actually the solution to our energy crisis?
That would be amazing.
I think it is. I think it's part of it. I do. I think
it's absolutely part of it for sure. The more creative people become and aware, I think that's amazing.
Yep. So it makes me kind of like excited. And, Kelly and I always talk about like getting gifts, and the fact that Bitcoin the price is low, and it's probably not the lowest price, but at the same time, it's like we dollar cost average in, or if you just want to wait, if you already bought Bitcoin a while ago and you're looking for bargain basement prices, just get your USDC, keep it on the side, and we'll wait and see how this contagion plays out.
Right.
But moving forward, I don't think people fully can comprehend or even understand or know what Bitcoin is going to be used for in the near future to solve some of these problems.
Oh, I think it's such a, it's such a, I don't want to say convoluted because it's not really convoluted. It's just really clouded. If you don't know anything about cryptocurrencies, first and foremost, it's and or Bitcoin, you won't have anywhere to dive into, right? It's just it's just a foreign thing. But I think in turn, part of the push will also be during the Bitcoin halving, which is in 2024.
Correct.
Right.
Right.
So I think that will be another influx of investors. Not that you should be waiting until 2024, because in my opinion, solely an opinion, I don't think you should, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I think I think what Bitcoin halves around March or April 2024. And I totally agree with you, Kel. Now is the time. Dollar cost average into Bitcoin. You know what? We have a year and a half. We have a year and a half to accumulate Bitcoin, because each time it goes up, when it comes back down, it doesn't normally go and hit the last previous bottom.
And I know there's a lot of gun shy people out there, people that have lost their money, whether it be through BlockFi or Voyager, there's a lot of wounded folks out there, but I hope that you can still see through some of that and, figure out a way to continue to put a little bit of money in there. Unfortunate series of events.
And Kelly and I work with a lot of people. So if you don't own Bitcoin yet and you really want to purchase some, Kelly and I are here to help, right? We'll help walk you through that. Just go to twowomeninCrypto.com, email us. We're more than happy to guide you guys. And I just feel it's really important, because I was looking at Kraken, I'm looking at Coinbase. Kraken holds your coins for a week. Okay, Coinbase holds your coins for, I think, 3 days. So, right now, I think that's, those are two of this. None of them are safe, but everything we do, there's risk involved, but we have to onboard our US dollars if we don't have the SafePal or Ledger and things like that. But you could just go ahead and buy that hardware wallet, get it set up, use that third party to onboard your dollars, and you could do it all decentralized, or you slowly put it on a centralized exchange and transfer it off, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And we approach it, especially for those that are new, very simply. We're not talking about the complexities of Uniswap and MetaMask and all these other things. We talk about just acquiring a few things in a very, very simple way.
Yeah. And the thing is too, Kel, when you found out about SafePal, and then I ordered one and I was playing around with it, it's just to be able to interact with decentralized finance on the SafePal device is so much easier than doing the MetaMask, getting a swap. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And just on that note, though, that in MetaMask and Uniswap, I should say Uniswap, PancakeSwap, 1inch, all of those are integrated within the DApp of SafePal. So that is a function that is there, which does make it somewhat simpler when you decide to when somebody decides to get into some of those other coins that aren't available through the SafePal function. But yeah, absolutely.
Cool. The sun is beating on me. I have to switch again. Sorry. We normally do this really early in the morning, and now I'm trying to. And I only have internet in this one little spot on my porch. So
no, it's perfect.
That's better. I was I can't even see.
Perfect.
Awesome. All right. So anyway, we want to talk about Ripple and XRP?
Yes, that's been a fun little week that we had.
It's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Well, the world is very overwhelming.
We're just talking about one small portion of it, but yes.
I know. So I'm seeing a lot of adoption going on with Ripple. I'm super excited about the potential use case of XRP with cross-border payments and just so many different like functionalities that like, again, like we don't even know the full extent of all of this. But I'm watching, I do believe with some of the research that I'm doing, I wouldn't be surprised if England is one of the next countries to adopt a central bank digital currency. We know that Ripple and Quant are on the board for the digital pound. So I kind of want everyone's eyes to be on England right now, and let's see how this whole thing plays out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yep. And all the documents have gone to the judge. Everything is done with the case. So we could be hearing from the judge maybe in a month or 6 months. I can't imagine it going any further than that. But the lawsuit is definitely, it's wrapped up. So we're just waiting on, we're just going to be waiting on some of the judgments from the judge.
That'll be interesting to see, because speaking of Europe in general, because of their energy crisis, not that everywhere isn't experiencing it, because we are, if maybe that timeline will be speed up just because of that. So it'll be, I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, it definitely makes sense. It makes sense. And I could see us in for like a super bumpy road, because when I listen to like Biden and the people that, are part of that administration, they want Russia to do price caps. I mean, we talked about this last week, and it's like it would create an interference with supply and demand. And what would happen is we're going to have gas shortages if Biden moves forward with this. It's something that we've done over and over again in history, and it never works out well. So let's try again. Right? That's so stupid. But this is, we'll see if it goes down this way. But it'll probably be a little bit of a bumpy winter. But with that said, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this, or if you've been like watching the charts at all, I can see Jerome Powell coming out and lowering the interest rates, like maybe even, December, January. And I could see us having a pump before we hit the bottom.
Oh, absolutely. I think that would be the case. I guess it's the beginning of the pivot, right? If that's indeed what he does. Yeah. So we'll see. But I do think there might be a little bit of a pump. But then I do expect us to go downwards a little bit more.
Yeah. Because if we do wind up having an energy crisis, it's too big of a macroeconomic factor that affects everybody, and it'll bring crypto down with the stock market. Yeah. So,
I'm still not, even stocks and things of that nature. I mean, I'm hoping that people are keeping some cash on the side to do some investing here as we get to those points.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I mean, there's just so many things going on right now. And if you look at like, so many of these tech companies, their prices have dropped as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah, absolutely. Across the board.
Yep. So whatever you like to dollar cost average in. And again, it's just like, look at the price of a barrel of oil, because if we wind up having like an energy crisis, it'll make the price of oil shoot through the moon again. And it, and again, you can look at these things. It hurts people, but that investors make money. And I don't like it, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah, no, it is.
So, I did want to say some good news, though, that I heard about living in Florida. I definitely agree with a lot of the decisions that Governor DeSantis makes. And he is going against BlackRock and Blackstone with ESG. And he's not giving them the $2 billion that they had requested.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like wrapping our heads around like ESG and central bank digital currency and like maintaining privacy and looking at all of these different things. It's like we have to win, right? Now's the moment of time to come together and make sure we have digital rights with privacy. It's so important. Because I don't care if XRP goes to like $1 gazillion or Bitcoin goes to $1 gazillion. If we don't have freedom, and if we're monitored and we can only spend our money on what they tell us to spend, who cares how much money we have? It doesn't matter.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. We're really at a critical point.
Yeah, we really are. And the world is just changing so quickly. So we have a member of Two Women in Crypto. Her name is Kim. So big shout out to Kim. And she sent me this article, and I was watching some of these videos about it's an artificial intelligence navigation map. Did you get a chance to look at it?
I haven't. A navigation map like Google Maps, is that what that is? Is that
So
what you're referring to?
yeah, it's like Atlas Navi, but you actually get a car that's like in 3D, and it's like a really cool car, and it's all simulated by AI, but it's also in real time. So it's a navigation app. So the artificial intelligence is learning and providing real time, mapping, just like Waves. I think would be like a good example.
Yep.
But you earn the mile token by providing that data.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't want any of this because, again, I don't think the average person understands that we are going to be paid for our data.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, those that are using Google that have their location services on, you can go back 2, 3, 4 years and query a specific date, and they'll tell you exactly where you were and how many miles you drove.
Right.
So, and a lot of people, you share your location data so that people know where you are or family members know where you are. And I completely understand it, but they have that query down to a T.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. It's so wild to see like some of these like newer projects coming out. And I came across something else too. Coin Bureau, he does a great job like researching and he's got like a whole team of people like that help him with content and stuff. But Kelly and I had talked about some of the potential smart cities that were going to be popping up in Saudi Arabia. We did that a long time ago too. Yeah. But there's this one particular smart city called The Line. Yeah. Is that weird or what? I mean, I am so
really bizarre.
I am freaked out. It's just like Black Mirror episode.
Yeah. I would encourage anybody to just take a look because it is being developed. I mean, they're in it right now. It's fascinating. It's really interesting.
A city built on this narrow line. All the people live in the line.
Yeah.
And then it's built up with mirrors on the outside. So to come into the city or leave, you would probably fry. You can't leave. You're a prisoner of this city.
I never looked at it that way. I didn't look at the mirrors.
Yeah, it's very strange. There's like 3 different levels, and it's and right now they initially had the build for 1 million people and they increased it to 9 million people.
How many miles does it go and how many stories is it? I can't remember all the details.
It's 3 stories. I don't remember how many miles it is, but they invested $1 trillion into this project.
Yeah.
$1 trillion.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's really sci-fi-ish, of course. The whole world's sci-fi-ish. It's like dystopian societies and things of that nature, but it was wild to see that is really being developed.
Yeah. Yeah. So, again, hopefully that'll just be like a massively failed project, but now is the time, I see the uprising of people in the Netherlands, in China, in Brazil, all over the world, so we just want to keep our eyes on this. I do believe that Brazil had announced that Bitcoin, they're going to start incorporating it as a payment. Okay. So that's definitely good news.
Yeah. Wow.
Isn't it so wild? It's just like, and I'm listening and I remember like looking at some of the others and it's just like, they'll have the line for, regular people and then they'll build these amazing wonderful, like smart cities for them that no one will be able to get in and out of. It's just something to keep in mind. Like at this point, it's can't really trust anybody. All we do our due diligence and we're doing the research. And I think that's the other beauty of being in a bear market right now, because we have time to do that research.
Well, that and the people that are really looking at making changes, that are looking at buying new homes or, choosing where they might want to relocate to. I mean, now's a really good time to give a really, really hard look. Do you want to be in a city center? Do you want to be more rural? If I'm a proponent of getting away further and further away from the city centers. But we all have work and our threads to weave. So it'll be interesting to see how it shows itself for all of us over time.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. And if you do decide to move and you need a really good online notary.
Yes. Great.
We have Markley Mobile, one of our sponsors. Jeannie Johnson is absolutely awesome. You can reach out to her. So again, like you can get a notary now anywhere in the country at any time, it's such a good service where you're not running to the bank. Do it all from the comfort of your own home. So right. I love this service so much.
Yep, absolutely. And on that same line, same thing is our wonderful partner and friend is Mary Berger with Computer Diva. We spent some time together this morning chatting about just some life things. We've been friends for a long time, but her services are amazing. She is super accessible, super knowledgeable, a huge advocate to have in your back pocket. And she works with people all over the world because I know that our listeners are tuning in from all over the world. So it doesn't matter where you're at. She is available to help keep your computer system secure in today's world where not only are we working with cryptocurrencies, which is really important to keep ourselves safe, but just in terms of our, just overall protection, not losing our data on our computers, because it's happened to me too many times, knock on wood, no longer, because I'm all set up with all the backups that I need. But it's really, really important to have individuals like that in your back pocket. And when they're friends too, it just makes it that much richer. But highly, highly recommend them both.
Yeah, both awesome services. And again, with holidays coming up, I think really awesome, like Christmas or solstice or whatever you celebrate, presents. Buy someone like a silver round,
Great stocking stuffers.
Something that's valuable, that's going to go up in value. And the same thing, if you know someone who's been a little hesitant to get into cryptocurrency because they feel a little overwhelmed with the process of setting up a hardware wallet, Kelly and I put together like an e-gift card that you can get right on our website, and just give them that gift of a loved one, becoming their own bank. I just feel like it's probably one of the best gifts you could give somebody. And I'm a practical Capricorn, of course, but I
completely agree. Yeah. Completely agree. And, just a SafePal or a Ledger, what have you, and an hour consultation is a great way to get somebody started.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yes,
all right. Absolutely. Well, all right. So we're going to wrap up. And you have any last thoughts, Kelly?
Oh, enjoy this beautiful season. It really is a fun time to just kind of walk around and see how people are decorating their yards. Those of us that celebrate the holidays in such a fashion. And just remember to be in love with life. That's one of my most important messages. And of course, we always say hodl on at the end. That's a no bueno, but no, so not a no bueno.
It's a no-brainer.
A no-brainer. That's what I was trying to get to. But yeah, how about you?
Yeah, same thing. I've really been every day is a gift. Absolutely. Every day is a gift. So let's just keep, like Kelly said, let's spread the love, spread the kindness, spread the joy, because it's love that's going to bring us back together and shift us into a better paradigm.
Absolutely. All right. Until next week.
Hodl on.
Your hosts for Two Women in Crypto are Andrea Caldero and Kelly Lair. You'll find more information and details regarding the Two Women in Crypto membership, educational and informative class and event offerings, and more via their website, twowomeninCrypto.com. Both Andrea and Kelly are available for speaking events and offer private consultations focused on helping individuals navigate the future. Until next time, huddle on.